Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, the HondaJet is certified, hang gliding and paragliding threatened by insurance problems. Spirit of St. Louis Replica takes flight. I'm Bree Cross. It's December 11th, 2015, and this is Airborne Unlimited. You meet the nicest people on a Honda. That was Honda's advertising slogan in the early 1960s when the company first introduced its Honda 50 motorbike to the U.S. market. Who would have thought back then that we would be flying in a Honda-built jet? Jet flight in a Honda has now come to pass as the FAA has granted certification to the HondaJet. This is the final step before full production can begin at the company's manufacturing base in Greensboro, North Carolina, and we imagine that a big party is underway. In October, Honda Aircraft completed all Part 23 certification flight testing. The flight test program has exceeded 3,000 total flight hours, and testing was conducted at more than 70 locations in the United States. During the follow-on function and reliability testing, the HondaJet flew missions to 54 airports in 31 states. At NBAA 2015 in Las Vegas, company president and CEO Michimasa Fujino said that the company was expecting to wrap up flight testing in November and that he expected the FAA would grant certification very soon. He was right. The U.S. Hang Gliding and Paragliding Association is racing to raise nearly $2 million in an effort to, in their words, save the sport of free flight in the U.S. In August, the association was notified that their insurance carrier would be canceling its policies. In an email sent to its members, the association said that in March 2016, it expected to see a huge increase in premiums and the loss of all coverage for commercial instruction for both individual instructors and flying sites. In an update posted recently on its website, the association said that it has raised over $1.1 million towards that $2 million goal, but it still must raise an additional $874,000 by March 1st. It has received a $100,000 challenge grant from a member, meaning that once the membership raises $774,000, this donor will provide the $100,000 needed to complete the capitalization. The association is calling on pilots to challenge their local clubs and chapters to fundraise together and has several suggestions for fundraising activities for clubs. Online donations are also being accepted. After the break, the Spirit flies at Old Rhinebeck Aerodrome.
The KSN 770 is an affordable, WAS-enabled integrated MFD with a flexible hybrid user interface from Bendix King. Get your fingers on the 770's perfect blend of touchscreen and hard buttons. Easily control your GPS navigation, Navcom, weather, traffic, and terrain in any condition. For more information, go to bendixking.com.
Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
AML's patent-pending wireless induction charging system eliminates confusion over those charging cables, cuts down cockpit cable clutter, and allows you and your passengers to fly cordless and eliminate the cable nightmare. www.aviationmodificationleaders.com.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. If you would like to be a supporter of Airborne Unlimited, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. A piece of history has been recreated as the Old Rhinebeck Aerodrome Museum flew its replica of the Spirit of St. Louis earlier this week. The museum says their Spirit of St. Louis is the most authentic reproduction of Charles Lindbergh's famed Ryan-built Spirit of St. Louis built to date, and its first flight test made by aerodrome pilot and aircraft restorer builder Ken Cassens was a success. Cassens said of the flight, quote, "It was uneventful, which is a good thing, and I was happy with the way it performed," end quote. The challenges of flying this aircraft are noteworthy. The pilot has zero forward visibility, and the Spirit has no brakes, and only a tail skid that digs into the ground to slow it down upon landing. Plans are underway for the Spirit's public flight debut to take place on May 21, 2016, at the 89th anniversary of Lindbergh's landing in France. After these messages, Congress wants the FAA to move on small aircraft certification reform.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
Now certified, Aspen Avionics single-band ADS-B ATX100 and ATX100G transceivers are the next-gen ADS-B solution that provides the features pilots need while keeping flyaway costs low. Check it out now at aspenavionics.com.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. Congressman Mike Pompeo has sent a letter to the Office of Management and Budget requesting an expeditious review of the FAA's Notice of Proposed Rulemaking for small airplane certification. He said, quote, federal regulators are far behind in the rulemaking process for small airplane certification regulations. The National Transportation Safety Board recently released a 9-minute video that highlights the crucial role that procedural compliance plays in commercial aviation safety. The video uses findings from 7 commercial airplane accidents to make its point. The Airline Pilot Association says that it supports the opening of proceedings at the World Trade Organization between the U.S. and China. It supports the U.S. government in standing up for fair competition and enforcing open skies agreements. Canada's Aviation Hall of Fame will induct 4 new members at its ceremony to be held on June 9, 2016. The inductees are Frederick Carmichael, Kathleen Fox, William Lennox, and Beverly Shinstone. The Royal Canadian Naval Air Branch will receive the Belt of Orion Award for Excellence. The first factory-new diesel engine Archer DX to be sold in Scandinavia has been delivered to Belland Air Center, a leading flight school in Denmark. The school took possession of the aircraft last week and has more on the way. Well, that's our trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. We get another step closer to bringing significant third-class medical change to reality as the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation on Wednesday passed what has become known as the Pilot's Bill of Rights 2. EAA Chairman and CEO Jack Pelton said in part, quote, as we have often said, working through the legislative route is not an easy or quick task, but we are very pleased that this progress has been made and the bill now goes to full Senate. It took long hours of work by EAA and AOPA and efforts from Senators Jim Inhofe and Joe Manchin, their staff, and other co-sponsors of the bill to get it to that point, end quote. The committee passed the measure on an overwhelming bipartisan vote on Wednesday. The bill will now go to the full Senate, where it has strong bipartisan support with 70 co-sponsors, hopefully for a vote before the holiday recess. The House will also have to pass the bill before it can go before the President to be signed into law. The bill has 151 co-sponsors in the House. We'll keep you posted as the bill progresses through its legislative process. Well, that's our program for today. Remember to get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily Monday through Friday with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. Please join us and a growing roster of over 100 outstanding industry associations and organizations every weekday for the best in aviation and aerospace news from the staff of the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource. Have a wonderful weekend. We will see you on Monday.